Hello, this is Manesh Patel from the EII Capital Group. Today is January 1st, 2012. It's our weekly Ichimoku analysis for the global markets where we cover everything from the US to Europe to Asia and so forth. Happy New Year to everyone. So our normal disclaimer to state this is for education use only. All charts you can see are from Thinkorswim, from TD Ameritrade, TradeStation, or FreeStockCharts.com. Okay, here are my contact details down here, and Patel at eicapital.com. You could access any of our free videos, Twitter, Facebook, or anything else out there at ichimokutrade.com. Just register for free and you'll get access to all our resources. We will also go through our sectors and our heat map and scanners today for you. That's available on the website. Okay. Now, before we begin, let's begin and start going through the weekly time frame for all the major countries out there. In some cases, we'll cover the ETFs if we don't have access to the main index. Okay, so if you look at German market, nothing really going on last week compared to the before. We're just consolidating right now. 62.50 is basically resistance level there, and if you look here, this is basically a support level here at 54.60. So nothing really going on in the German market at all. We are at a minor resistance level, but not at a major at all. If you look at the Paris market, same thing. Nothing really going on at all. Resistance level is going to be right here at 33.64. And support level is going to be right here at 29.38. So nothing really going on at all. If you noticed, the week before we were up, last week we kind of just barely up. And if you look at the German market, little down. So we kind of really did nothing last week, and you kind of expect that due to the holidays. If you look at the London market, a little more push upwards compared to the German market and the Paris market. But basically, we're just consolidating here in a range right now where there's nothing really going on in the FTSE. The FTSE's resistance level is going to be basically at 58.95, which is still far away, but this is still stronger compared to the Paris or the Frankfurt. And if you look, the reason why is both Paris and Frankfurt, they're not even close to the cloud at all, whereas the FTSE it is. And if you look in a couple of weeks, if it just consolidates, it's automatically the sentiment's going to become bullish if it just stays where it's at. So it's going to be interesting to see exactly what happens in the next couple of weeks. So if this thing just stays where it's at, then in February, the sentiment can automatically change to be bullish. So it's going to be interesting to see exactly where that ends up and moving forward. If you look at the Israel market, if you look at the Israel market, we've basically been trending down as far as the weekly is concerned. We're at a major support level right now, which is at 39.56. So it's going to be interesting to see exactly what happens there moving forward. But we are at a major support level on the Israel market. If we break down, we could go a lot lower as far as Israel is concerned. Turkey, over here, same thing. We're not kind of at a major resistance level. We're at a minor one because that's retesting this pivot low. The major ones right here for the ETF is going to come down to here at 37.63. So that's going to be interesting to see exactly what happens there. Support is on this ETF is going to be way back up here at 50.42, but this is trending downwards. So it's going to be interesting to see exactly what happens there. Okay, if you come over here to the Stockholm here, this is basically consolidating, nothing really going on. We're at a minor resistance level right now as far as the Stockholm is concerned. Okay, we're going to come back up here. Sorry we're skipping around, but just easier to do it this way. South Africa, really nothing going on right now. We're just consolidating. So it's just really nothing going on at all as far as South Africa is concerned. Um, so we're just going to move on. Russia, if you look at Russia, it really did nothing last week here. But if this thing could sit there and start breaking this minor resistance level here at $20.02 for this ETF, this thing can start a trend to retest the pivot low and to keep on going lower. So Russia is kind of at a critical stage too, compared to almost everything in Europe. Okay, Shanghai, let's go over to Asia. If you look at Shanghai, it's making its move down to 21,000. Which we've been talking about as the next major support level. So slowly trickling down there. A lot of people think it's oversold, but does have the potential going all the way down to 2100 in the next couple of weeks. Hong Kong, if you look at Hong Kong, it's kind of just sitting there. It's just bearish trend. It's still in a bearish trend, but it's just kind of consolidating right now. Nothing really going on at all. Minor resistance level is going to be 19,000. Major resistance level is going to be right around 19,502. Okay. If you look at Korea with all the stuff going on with the new leader in North Korea, really nothing going on at all. It's just consolidating, it's just going sideways. So nothing going on in that market at all for Korea. If you go look at Tokyo in Japan, Japan is getting close to support again here, but not there yet. But it's basically around 8,200 um, where that next support is, but it's just sitting there consolidating right around that level, which is not good at all. Bombay market, it's sitting right there at the major support level there. It does have a potential to keep on going down. Our next major support level is going to be at 14,500. So watch out. A little more movement down where it breaks this little pivot low here, which is at 15,135. So if it breaks 15,000, there's a huge potential probability of it going all the way down to 14,500. Australian market, you could see this downward movement kind of consolidated here, but it looks like it's trying to go down here. If it does, it's going to sit there and try to get down to the support level here, which is basically the bottom of the range, which is at 3,936. Sorry, 3,941. Okay, so that covers it for Europe. Let's go over to, Asia. Let's go over to Americas now. Let's start by Canada. If you look at Canada, nothing really going on at all, just consolidating. Um, Resistance level you're going to have is basically 12,000 up here, and support level is going to be basically around over here, which is right around 11,500. But nothing really going on as far as Canada is concerned. Mexico's next. If you look at Mexico, all it has to do is sit there and break this little resistance level here, 37,575. If it does, it's going to start a trend to retest this pivot high over here at 39,000, and does have a potential going higher, which is pretty interesting because if you look at a lot of the ETFs or a lot of the countries, a lot of them are not even above the cloud. This one is, and it's very, very strong. So definitely keep an eye on Mexico moving forward. Brazil, if you look at it, it's just consolidating, nothing really going on as far as Brazil is concerned. And then Colombia, it's in a bearish trend here, so definitely look at bearish opportunities for this one. It's at a minor resistance level right now, but definitely look for it to go bearish. Okay, so now let's go over to the US side and let's go look at the Dow futures. Remember, left hand side is basically the daily time frame, right hand side is basically the weekly time frame. If you look at the daily time frame, we're basically consolidating here. The pivot high, if you look at these, which is the resistance level here, is 12,261. If we could break that, then this thing does have a potential going higher on both time frames. But it's going to be interesting to see exactly what's going to happen. Typically, the seasonal pattern is that right in the middle of January is where we start taking off. So we may sit there and see some more consolidation pattern. But the more this consolidates, the more momentum is taken away from the bulls. And it's got to sit there and make a move to break this 12,261 to even start a trend to get back up above 12,500 and maybe try to go for 13,000 again. So it's got to really break this trend with vengeance in order, this resistance here with vengeance in order to start moving up fast. Let's go look at the S&P mini futures. If you look at it, it's got some minor resistance levels, not even at a resistance level right now. But here it's got to break the 1,268. If it does, it's the next resistance level it's going to get is 1,306. The Dow is a lot stronger than the mini S&P 500 futures, so if you're going to go bullish, I'd definitely look at some of the Dow stocks instead of the E-mini S&P 500, because if you look at it on the Dow, it has the potential of breaking out of the cloud where the sentiment's going to be bullish on the weekly, whereas over here, this is still going to traverse the cloud. Now, saying that, in February, mid-February, it is going to automatically come out of the cloud and be bullish if it stays above 1,012, so basically it stays above 1,200, okay? And then let's go look at the NASDAQ. And if you look at NASDAQ, it is above the cloud here. We are finally bullish, but this thing's got to start breaking its minor resistance level here at around, let's just say 2,300. If it does, then it can sit there and start going up to this level here, which is 2,340, and then a level here, which is about 2,400. Sorry, yeah, 2,400. If you look at the sequences of all the markets, Right now, basically the Dow is the strongest. Next is probably going to be the Nasdaq, and then the S&P 500 as far as looking at these charts and everything. So you could do pairs trading by going long on the Dow and then short on basically the either the S&P mini futures or Nasdaq. But I definitely go on the S&P mini futures. And lastly, let's go look at TF, which is the Russell futures. This pretty much resembles the E-mini S&P 500 futures moving forward, but it's basically got to break this resistance level of 3753. If it does, it's still going to be in the cloud, which is going to be a problem. And again, just like the other S&P 500, mid-February is when it's going to automatically come out of the cloud, and the sentiment's going to be bullish moving forward. Okay. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to go to our website, Ichimoku Trade, and what we're going to do is we're going to look at our heat map now, and I'll explain this heat map in just a minute. Let me just shrink this down because remember I have to sit there and shrink my screens down. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at international country ETFs with this, okay? And if you look at the country ETFs, I'm going to zoom in, okay? I'm going to zoom in and then scroll down. And you can scroll down here. You can see all the country ETFs here, and you can see all the different time frames here. Okay. Now remember, we always been looking at daily and weeklies. We're assuming your daily time frame is going to be your trading time frame, and your weekly time frame is going to be your higher time frame. Okay. And what you're doing for in these scenarios is that you want to look for trend strategies. Okay. In a trend strategy with the number system that you're looking for is either a 2 or a 4 on a daily time frame, and then on the higher time frame you want to look for a 2, 4, or 5 with the same color. So if you look here, Hong Kong right now, if you look at Hong Kong, this has an opportunity here. Remember, this is bearish opportunity right now, where basically it's a 4 on the daily time frame and a 2 on the weekly. Remember, you're looking for a 2 or 4 on the daily and the same color 2. Okay, sorry about that. Again, you want to look for 2 or 4 on the daily time frame, and then with the same color, you want to look for 2, 4, or 5 on the weekly. And you could see that the Hong Kong is basically matching that. So this is one opportunity there. No opportunities in any of these others. There's one here, Malaysia. Okay, so Hong Kong, Malaysia, and then you're gonna look here at Brazil. Okay. And these are all bearish so far. There's not even been a bullish one at all. Korea is another one that you could look at as far as the ETFs are concerned. And then you want to look at here the EAFE index fund. And then if you keep on scrolling down, emerging markets is bearish. There's an opportunity there. China, South Africa, and that's it. So in those opportunities, what you want to do is when these have a potential opportunity there, and also brick. So in these scenarios, these are all ready to go on 2 time frames. All they have to do is, since these are red, they got to break the next support on that time for on the daily time frame. If they break the next support on the daily time frame, since this is bearish being red, then it has a potential of trending on both the daily and weekly. Okay, so these are opportunities to happen, but they have to sit there and break the support or resistance. They have to break the next support for being when it's red, and have to break the next resistance when it's green. Okay, so if you look at those, that basically covers the country ETFs. Let's go look at industry sectors, and let's see what sectors are strong right now. And if you shrink this down and scroll down, and remember, looking for 2s and 4s on the daily time frame with the same color 2, 4s, or 5 on the weekly. And if you look here, you really don't see anything here. Well, that's red, so you can't look at that. There's one right here, which is basically construction materials is a bullish opportunity right now. So if it breaks the next resistance level on a daily time frame, this is going to start a trend on both the daily and weekly. So that's an opportunity there waiting for you. Next is going to be food producers right now for bullish side. Um, and then they keep on scrolling downwards. Nothing really here. The industrial materials is setting, metals and mining is setting off a bearish, but not quite, because it's not a 2 yet, but it's at a 1. And if you keep on scrolling down, you got another opportunity here. Oil and gas producers are bullish right now. So these are sectors that we're covering, okay? And if you keep on scrolling down, that's it. So basically, you had, my memory correct, bullish opportunity for oil and gas. Okay, that was one opportunity. Then if you keep on scrolling up, you had basically industrial metals and sorry, metals and mining was setting up but not quite ready yet. Okay, and then if you keep on going up, food producers, and then you had construction. So construction, food producers, and oil and gas is basically the opportunities right now that you had on the bullish side, and all of those were bullish moving forward. The only one bearish maybe in the future is going to be in industrial, but that's about it. So this is basically how you use the heat map slash scanner. We also have a scanner here which will search for the 2s and 4s for stocks too. Okay, so you could come over here on the stock side. You could choose what time frame you want, a beginning price, end price, so you could filter based on price and also filter based on 60-day volume. Okay. If you have any questions, there is a video on the website which you could see, which shows you exactly how to use the heat map. And if you remember, this is my contact details again. If you have any questions, you could feel free to email me. Thank you and see you.